talking, you mentioned about setting up this control room for your 8,700 cubic meters worth of concrete that you had poured in record 29 hours. Can you run us a little bit into that? Because, typical experience that you see on the field when you go on the field is if 10 cars come in, typically one gets rejected because of, quality issues. So this was a very interesting insight that you shared with me yesterday. I would want you to share it with the audience also as to, how you managed to not reject a single car that came into the site.
Yeah, that's a challenge which I always take. See, rejecting a concrete. आपको एक इंडस्ट्री का एक फैक्ट बताता हूँ. ओके, कर्मा बोलते हैं ना हम लोग. तो कर्मा कैसा होता है कि you give anything and that will return back to you. Okay, good karma comes back to you as good karma, and bad karma comes back. It will haunt you. Okay, so I believe in that philosophy of karma. It applies to RMC also, and specifically when we are taking commercial RMC from commercial RMC plants. So see, one single vehicle, it is coming. It is approximately, on an average in India, the transit mixers are of 6 cubic meter capacity.
Right.
So one vehicle which is coming is of 6 cubic meter, and supposedly the value of the concrete per cubic meter is 5,000 rupees. Okay, so the total value of the concrete in that 6 cubic meter vehicle is 30,000 rupees.
Right.
Now, if you reject this vehicle 30,000 rupees, it is going to take the manufacturer 10 more vehicles to recover the profit of this rejected vehicle. Okay, so you see the impact of a rejected vehicle on the manufacturer, and when you are going to hurt the manufacturer to such an extent, so that that bad feeling or that sense of confusion or problem or loss of this thing commercials will hurt the commercial operator. So what happens in mass concrete, it is very important you keep the flow of the concrete of the commercial RMC vendors, because if they lose the flow, they will try to compensate that flow with some other order. And if supposedly they start any other parallel order, then you will be their second priority. So when my mass concrete becomes their second priority, the total input which I am going to get from them, the quantum in a given amount of time which I am going to get from them, will hamper. So this is one point. The earlier point I told that it is ultimately going good karma, bad karma philosophy. So any rejected vehicle, when it is 10 times, 10 more vehicles are required to compensate the cost of that vehicle, there is very, very extremely minimal chance that that vehicle will not come back to me. Okay, if my mass concrete is going on. Okay, because that particular RMC plant is not having any other place to divert that vehicle, any other low grade concrete where he can pour this concrete. Secondly, it is important that when mass concrete is being done, so a very low heat profile concrete mix design is run. Okay, so low heat profile is achieved by reducing the cement content for a long period of time. So even if the RMC person is in a position to divert the vehicle to some other pour on a lower grade of concrete, still that concrete will achieve strength at a very long duration of time. So there would be complications in diversion of vehicle also. So it is very rare that they will throw the material. In many of the cases, there are good chances that this vehicle will be returned back to you only after doing whatever possible corrections are there at their end. So they may do technically correct corrections, they may do technically wrong corrections. So when I am in a situation to control concrete, my aim of mission control is that I should be able to clearly point out the vehicle under RAG system. That is the RAG system. So under the RAG system, we have just like we have signals on the road, which is having green, amber, and red color.
Right.
So green means everything seems to be okay. Amber means there could be a problem, needs to be checked out and then released. And if suppose my system shows a red color marking, so red flag means that there could be some problem. Now this problem could be due to any reason. It can be due to certain mishappening. It can be certain due to miscalculation, but the system has identified a problem into the vehicle. So when I pull out that vehicle, I have a span of 30 minutes to check it, to understand what could be going wrong with it, what could have gone wrong with it, and then doing a technically correct correction at my end. Because if I do a technically correct correction, then I am assuring myself that if I pour this vehicle in the concrete, it is going to be safe for my concrete. And then specifically cubes are filled for this particular vehicles to check whether everything was correct or not. And we tend to make it on a safer side, much more safer side. So the correction is done on a safer side. If this vehicle is non-technically corrected at the RMC end, okay, so that he does not lose out his profit, then he will not do it on the safer side. He will only do the marginal correction. Okay.
Correct.
So that is the reason I am not in favor of rejecting vehicles. It is very ethical to understand the pain points of the supplier also. So if I understand the pain points of the supplier is going to wholeheartedly give me his full dedication, and is going to supply me in a dedicated way. And for this simple reason, we were able to complete this pour in 29 hours.
Very nice. Very nice. Very interesting. So, sir, a question that comes to me is, you mentioned the three colors, which is red, amber, and green, right? So how are you detecting this, or how are you able to give that grade or that quality assurance to the vehicles that are coming in? What are the metrics that you are testing for a quick assurance? Because 1100 vehicles, cubing every single vehicle will probably take a lot of time. What's your methodology to be able to give those three grades to a particular truck that comes in, RMC that comes in?
Okay. So before I answer particularly this question, okay, I will take you into my mission control room now. Okay. So my mission control room is an isolated room without a mobile phone.
Okay.
Only a computer screen with a Google Sheet on it. Okay. Collaborated Google Sheet on it. And whenever I go into mission control for large pours, I typically select two people who can dedicatedly, who themselves are ready to sit there for the whole pour. Okay. So they should be so dedicated that they will assure me that they will not take a break, except the washroom break. Okay. So when I go into the mission control mode, I basically select two people. I define them what they need to do, which I will be talking further. And then they have to sit in an isolated room wherein they are not allowed to take, say, 29 hours ka pour hai. So approximately 3 hours before and 3 hours afterwards, they are not allowed to engage with anyone on phone call. No one is. So why? Because there is a very deep dive into mission control. Okay. Into the quality control check. So the system is very sensitive, and there are 1158 vehicles which are going to come in within 29 hours. So आप अंदाजा लगाओ कि what is the frequency of vehicles. So 10 RMC plants are supplying, and in certain big pours even 25 RMC plants are supplying. Okay. So when 25 RMC plants are supplying, and every 5 minutes a vehicle is coming from each and every plant, so you see the intensity of those this thing. So in 8700 cubic meter, we had two people deputed for mission control, and each one was given 5 RMC plants, 5 to 6 RMC plants का उनके पास में कंट्रोल दिया था, and they were dedicatedly checking. अभी ये पूरी सिस्टम जो है, this system works on कि हमारे इसमें पंप पार्टनर्स थे, प्लांट पार्टनर्स थे. Okay. Now pump partners and plant partners are reporting on that same Google sheet. Okay, from their side.
Okay.
So whatever batches are coming out, जो भी बैच शीट निकल रही है, they are punching in the data on that Google sheet. जैसे ही गाड़ी वहां से निकल रही है, they will stop the vehicle, they'll check the slump. अभी ये slump चेक करने में जो 5 मिनट जा रहे हैं प्लांट के ऊपर, ठीक है, ये 5 मिनट में मोबाइल हाथ में पकड़ के that person, the plant partner, will punch in the batch sheet data into the Google sheet. Okay. Now this data, when it comes to my mission control team, वो तो immediately आ जाएगी. जैसे ही वो पंच करेगा, वैसे ही वो यहाँ पर शो कर देगा कि this vehicle, ये डेटा है उसका, ये उसका slump का डेटा है, ये उसका टेम्परेचर डेटा है. ओके. अब ये वहां से पंच हो गया, तो मिशन कंट्रोल का जो सिस्टम्स थे, वो सिस्टम्स को एनालिसिस पे लगाया हुआ था कि इसमें जो भी मटेरियल आ रहा है, मतलब first step is to correct it, check it, cross check it with respect to the actual mix design. Okay. अब जो गाड़ी खाली होके गई है उसका एक वे ब्रिज पे वेट होता है,
राइट
वे ब्रिज पे वेट होके वो गाड़ी भरने जाती है, भर के फिर से आती है. अब
Right.
इसमें उसमें वाटर भी डाला जाता है, मतलब उसमें जो वाटर टैंक होती है उसमें वाटर भी डाला जाता है. ओके. सो ऑल दिस पैरामीटर्स आर फेड इनटू द सिस्टम एंड देन इट इज चेक कि वो सारे वेट्स जो है वो मैच हो रहे नहीं हो रहे, स्लम्प मैच हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है, टेम्परेचर मैच हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है. सो these all input parameters are regularly this thing feeded to the system. और वो मतलब इनपुट पैरामीटर्स मतलब जो बैकएंड के मटेरियल पैरामीटर्स है, मतलब टेम्परेचर ऑफ द एग्रीगेट, टेम्परेचर ऑफ वाटर, टेम्परेचर ऑफ सीमेंट, दिस इज ऑल फीडेड इनटू द सिस्टम एट एवरी आर्ली बेसिस. ओके. अब ये आर्ली बेसिस का डेटा है, मेरे पास में फ्रेश कंक्रीट का डेटा है. नाउ दिस सिस्टम विल एनालाइज कि ये सब कुछ मैच हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है. ओके. सो देयर आर अप्रोक्सीमेटली 5 चेक पॉइंट्स जहां पर सिस्टम चेक करेगा. अब उसमें से कुछ चेक पॉइंट जो है वो मतलब रेड फ्लैग की तरफ वाले हैं और कोई चेक पॉइंट्स उसमें जो है वो एम्बर फ्लैग वाली है. इफ नो चेक पॉइंट इज प्रॉब्लमेटिक देन वो ग्रीन बताएगा. अब जो एम्बर फ्लैग वाले चेक पॉइंट्स है, अभी जैसे मान लो टेम्परेचर अगर एक सर्टेन 2 डिग्री का फ्लक्चुएशन है तो एम्बर में है. ओके. सो वो एम्बर में बताएगा देयर इज नो इश्यू. बट टेम्परेचर एकदम से 5 डिग्री से फ्लक्चुएशन बता रहा है, जो एक्सपेक्टेड फ्लक्चुएशन है, मतलब पीछे के एग्रीगेट्स और वाटर का एक सर्टेन टेम्परेचर है, उससे मेरा कंक्रीट एक सर्टेन टेम्परेचर का बनना चाहिए. वो कंक्रीट अगर उस सर्टेन टेम्परेचर का बन नहीं रहा है और जब गाड़ी मेरे इस पे आ गई, मतलब मेरे साइट पे आ गई, साइट पे गाड़ी आने के बाद उसका जो टेम्परेचर है वो टेम्परेचर और प्लांट से निकलने वाला टेम्परेचर में जो डिफरेंस होना चाहिए, क्योंकि द टेम्परेचर स्लाइटली इंक्रीजेस इन द ट्रांजिट, अगर वो मैच नहीं हो रहा है, सो दीज आर ऑल इंडिविजुअल चेक पॉइंट्स. तो इनकी एक सर्टेन एम्बर की लिमिट है और सर्टेन एक रेड की लिमिट है. अगर एम्बर की लिमिट को उन्होंने क्रॉस कर दिया तो इट विल शो रेड फ्लैग एंड दिस वे वी वर ट्राइंग टू चेक आउट द कंक्रीट. अभी इसमें जो टेम्परेचर है वो ज्यादा फ्लक्चुएट हुआ तो वी वर इमीडिएटली आस्किंग द प्लांट टीम to spray water on the aggregates, to control the temperature of the aggregates, to control the temperature of water. So all this और जो गाड़ियां थी उनके ऊपर गनी बैग्स लगे होते हैं. तो यहाँ से हमको इंडिकेशन ये भी मिलता है कि गनी बैग जो है वो वेट है या नहीं है. ओके. बिकॉज व्हेन वी आर टेकिंग फ्रॉम कमर्शियल आरएमसीज मेनी थिंग्स कैन गो ऑड अगेंस्ट यू. So all those odds we should be able to identify. Okay, because there is a very fast movement of vehicles. You have to see there is a basic condition for mass concrete that you should be able to finish the mass concrete within say within the setting time, final setting time of the concrete, and you can retard the concrete to a maximum limit whatever your pore length is there. So in this case we had retarded the concrete for 24 hours because our intended plan was for 24 hours. वो थोड़ा सा नीचे का जो नीचे का जो इनिशियल जाली होती है 6 लेयर्स ऑफ जाली, उस पे हम लोग को प्रॉपरली कंक्रीट डालने में, प्रॉपर वाइब्रेशन करने में टाइम लग गया. सो इट एक्सटेंडेड टू 29 hours. So this is the way the mission control is handled.
Interesting, very interesting. I mean, it basically tells you the importance of data and the importance of data at the right time, which can help you make decisions, and you can react proactively rather than reactively.
You have to react proactively because concrete is a perishable material. It has life of only 3 hours.
Right.
So for that reason, you have to have a proactive reaction to your actions. In fact, for that simple reason only, when you're rejecting the vehicle, ना, वो vehicle divert अगर होके किसी और के साइड पर भी जाती है, तो उस बंदे के लिए वो नॉन टेक्निकल कंक्रीट हो जाता है. ठीक है. He might not know that वो रिजेक्ट होके आई है. And see, this is truly what is happening in the market. So you have to face the truth. People don't talk the truth or they don't want to actually discuss the truth also. कि ऐसा हो रहा है. तो अगर आपकी गाड़ी कहीं पर रिजेक्ट होके जा रही है किसी और वेंडर के पास में, तो फ्यूचर में ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि द सेम आरएमसी प्लांट विल डाइवर्ट सम अदर व्हीकल टुवर्ड्स यू. So both the possibilities are there. That is where I relate the philosophy of karma.
Correct. Very, very interesting story, sir. It again tells you the importance of being proactive, again, as you said, with little life of the particular material. You have to make decisions at the right time. So in all this discussion, I forgot to introduce you or to ask you about an introduction. So people call you the concrete magician. So we would really love to know, sir, if you could run us through your journey and how this term of concrete magician came across.
Yeah, in fact, people call me concrete magician with respect to that. See, I had a very uncanny habit of solving all the problems, of my friends, in my friend circle, in my professional circle also. People used to recommend my name to whenever there would be very very serious situations. Okay, so I used to tell them, यार serious situation में मेरी याद आती है, normal जब सब चल रहा है तो मेरी याद नहीं आती है. तो slowly and steadily they started कि हाँ सीरियस सिचुएशन में इसलिए याद आती है बिकॉज यू आर यू हैव द एबिलिटी टू जस्ट टेक अ मैजिक वैंड एंड करेक्ट द सिचुएशन. तो मेरे को उनको करेक्ट करना पड़ता था कि इट्स नॉट दैट वे इज दैट आई डू. इनफैक्ट आई लुक एट द सिचुएशन वेरी सीरियसली एंड आई ट्राई टू जनरली associate myself with the pain points of the person who is facing difficulty with concrete because generally मेरा सबसे ज्यादा कंसल्ट जो है वो इस एरिया में कॉन्ट्रैक्टर से आया बिकॉज दे आर द मोस्ट सफरिंग पीपल who are actually at back foot actually when it comes to doing a technically correct concrete. So जो भी वो ट्राई करते हैं so they are always looked at in Indian scenario ना. हम लोग क्या करते हैं कॉन्ट्रैक्टर का कुछ भी एफर्ट जो है ना उसको कभी भी डाउन प्ले करने की कोशिश करते हैं. तो वॉट एवर ही ट्राइज टू डू गुड कभी भी एक शक की नजर होती है कि बाबा कुछ कॉन्ट्रैक्टर का एडवांटेज है क्या उसमें. सो दैट इज द वे वी लुक एट कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हु आर एक्चुअली रियली वांटिंग टू डू सर्टन गुड थिंग्स. अब इसको मैं सिनारियो को चेंज तो नहीं कर सकता हूँ बट विद इन दैट सिनारियो जो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स डिफिकल्टीज में थे और लॉन्ग बैक 2004 से ऐसे बहुत लोग मेरे कांटेक्ट में आए जो जब जब प्रॉब्लम में थे उनको किसी ने मेरा नाम नंबर दिया and they called me. I went there and I was able to help them. I was able to bring them out of that serious situation. Okay. तो वो जो चीज था ना वो चीज स्लोली एंड स्टडीली मुझे ही नहीं पता चला कि कब लोगों ने बैकएंड पर वो मुझे मैजिशियन बोलना शुरू कर दिया. सो फिर मैंने भी थोड़ा सा उसमें से एक नाउ आई एम लिटिल इंक्लाइन टुवर्ड्स ब्रांडिंग एस्पेक्ट. ठीक है. तो मेरा बहुत सारा जो एफर्ट है वो लीन को स्टडी करने में जाता है, ब्रांडिंग को स्टडी करने में जाता है, एडवर्टाइजिंग को स्टडी करने में जाता है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ब्रांडिंग. एडवर्टाइजिंग एंड मार्केटिंग टिपिकली मैं उसको स्टडी करता हूँ विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ब्रांडिंग. सो विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ब्रांडिंग मैंने फिर एक दिन ऐसा बैठे बैठे सोचा कि अरे यार ये तो दिस इज वेरी गुड टर्म फॉर ब्रांडिंग फॉर माई सेल्फ, पर्सनल ब्रांडिंग. क्योंकि अगर आप किसी को आपका ईमेल आईडी देते हो और ईमेल आईडी से आपके बारे में उसको एक स्पेशल फीलिंग अगर जाती है so definitely that's a very good attempt for branding. So then I adopted that concrete magician into my email itself and then I started sending across my email. तो फिर लोगों के इसमें वो क्यूरियोसिटी बढ़ गई कि ये कौन बंदा है जो खुद ही को concrete magician बोल रहा है. फिर मुझे उनको बोलना पड़ता है कि मैं अपने आप को नहीं, लोगों ने मुझे सबसे पहले people started calling me magician and then I gave a nomenclature to my own self कि I am a concrete magician. So that's how the name got along with me. And now the whole industry, kind of recalls that due to after my email got, viral. So the industry, typically started recognizing me as a concrete magician. ये कुछ नहीं है. Understanding others' pain point है ना. This is the main thing which has helped me do certain good, wonderful things with concrete. दुआएं रहती है ना, वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बहुत सारे कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स की दुआ है मेरे साथ में.
So, sir, I read your LinkedIn bio also, and I think it says somewhere around 25 lakhs of cubic meter of concrete that you have poured over your lifetime. So, I would really want to know how come this passion only for concrete? Like, what pulled you into this, passion for concrete that you are? I mean, I was talking to you yesterday, and there also I could feel that you are very passionate about the subject.
See, concrete. अभी how why concrete? ये दो बूढ़े लोग होते हैं ना, दो बूढ़े लोगों की वजह से है. वन इज माई प्रोफेसर, माई बैचलर्स भी जब मैं कंप्लीट कर रहा था, सो माई प्रोफेसर इमीडिएट माई प्रोजेक्ट गाइड ऑल्सो एंड वन वॉज माई एक्सटर्नल गाइड फॉर माई प्रोजेक्ट वर्क. सो आई वॉज वेरी मच लकी दैट इंडिया में जो सबसे रेस्पेक्टेड पर्सनैलिटी है कॉन्क्रीट की, जिनका जो बुक है कॉन्क्रीट टेक्नोलॉजी पर, MS शेट्टी सर, he is my actually external guide for my project work in concrete.
Wow.
Or internally, my project guide was Mr. Vishwanath Fadke, a very charming person, a very youthful person. Though he is old, but still youthful. Till date also he is youthful. 25 साल हो गए अभी, but still he is youthful. So ये दोनों लोगों ने मिलके जो है ना, ये when I took up the project in concrete, they kind of totally backed me. क्योंकि हमारे उस टाइम पे वी वे स्टडीइंग अ कंक्रीट ऑफ M140 ग्रेड वे बैक इन 2001, जहाँ की लोग सोच भी नहीं रहे थे. मतलब आज भी इंडिया में अगर आप हाई ग्रेड कंक्रीट की बात करो, सो इट इज एम मैक्स टू मैक्स, इट इज M80. ओके. और IS 456 भी अभी जो है रिवाइज, इसमें भी जो 456 अभी आया है, या 10262 जो गाइडलाइंस है इसमें, वो भी M100 तक ही गाइडलाइंस देता है. Okay. So way back in 2001, when we were preparing M140 grade of concrete, and we had an aim of studying the durability of high strength concrete. Okay. So with durability, with strength, we were going to create a high performance concrete with respect to durability and strength. तो ये जो है, ये चीज को उन्होंने ये चैलेंज को एक्सेप्ट किया. फड़के सर इनफैक्ट हेल्प्ड अस टू प्रोक्योर इंटरनेशनल लेवल मटेरियल्स फ्रॉम नॉर्वे, फ्रॉम जर्मनी. फिर वहां पर आवर प्रोजेक्ट वर्क इन वे बैक इन 2001 वाज फुल्ली इन क्रस्ट सैंड. ओके. जो आज भी ऑल ओवर इंडिया अभी तक के वो क्रस्ट सैंड का जो पूरा यूटिलिटी है वो एस्टेब्लिश नहीं हुई है. We did in 2001, we did the complete project in crust sand. We took it as a challenge that we will do it in crust sand. So crust sand can give you strength, ये हमको उसमें से प्रूव करना था. And it is not a detrimental thing to concrete. So ये सब कुछ जो है वो उन दोनों के लव, उनका गाइडेंस, उनका आशीर्वाद, इससे हम लोग को बहुत कुछ स्ट्रेंथ मिली. And we completed the project work. It got recognized by the Indian Society of Technical Education, and we were awarded a national level award by ISTE that time. So ये वहां से शुरू हुआ. And then because understanding concrete, see M140 concrete जब हम लोग ये कर रहे थे, तो understanding concrete is very important. You need to understand the concrete to actually achieve performance and strength out of it. Okay. So वो एक deeply root हो गया दिल में कि how the concrete behaves, क्योंकि वो डिजाइन में हमने किया था. पूरा के पूरा जो लैब था, प्राइवेट लैब स्पॉन्सर्ड अस, तो उसमें पूरी एक्टिविटी हमने की थी, उसका पूरा ड्यूरेबिलिटी एनालिसिस किया था. सो इससे कंक्रीट के साथ में एक अलग ही रिलेशन खड़ा हो गया. एंड देन व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड माय प्रोफेशनल लाइफ, ड्यू टू प्रोफेसर रवि शेट्टी सर, आई फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई जॉइंड ग्रासिम फॉर 2 years, एंड फ्रॉम देयर माय प्रोफेशनल लाइफ स्टार्टेड. तो सीमेंट के साथ में एक बहुत एसोसिएशन आ गया उस टाइम पे. सीमेंट केमिस्ट्री के साथ में एक डीप डाइव करने मिला, एंड दैट गेव मी अ वेरी फ्लाइंग विंग for my career in concrete. And then there are many things. ये जो 25 लाख क्यूबिक मीटर है, ये होने के लिए बहुत एफर्ट्स लगते हैं. Of course. और बहुत सीरियस लेवल पे, see when you are engaged with people related to solving their pain points, then and then only such a big milestone can be achieved. Correct. So I was associated with good people solving their serious pain points in a very very genuine way, so that उनका profit hurt नहीं हो. And my concrete is correct always.
Very interesting. And sir, you also talk about macro and micro parameters when you're talking about concrete, right? So can you dive a little bit on how you categorize them? And then, because we want to move towards technology, conversation of technology, since this community is all about technology, we want to try and understand what kind of challenges you face when you execute such a large pour, or any pour in that, for that matter. What kind of challenges are existing in today's world in terms of concreting, and how could technology maybe solve or come into picture to be able to solve that? But first, I would like to learn a little bit about the macro and micro parameters that you always talk about.
See, when I actually go into the definitions of macro parameters, जितने भी parameters, simple parameters है जिससे concrete आज की तारीख में identify हो रहा है, वो सारे macro में आते हैं. Okay. So जो सबसे पहला पैरामीटर है जो आइडेंटिफाई होता है कंक्रीट के साथ में फॉर सक्सेस ऑफ कंक्रीट इज द स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ कंक्रीट. ओके. तो स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ कंक्रीट अगर मैं ये करता हूं, तो दैट इज अ मैक्रो पैरामीटर. ओके. अब उसमें अगर आप लोग बोलते हैं कि what are the guidelines of the IS with respect to cement content, minimum maximum cement content, that is a micro parameter. then guidelines about water cement ratio, that is a macro parameter. तो मैक्रो पैरामीटर्स में वो पैरामीटर्स को बोलता हूँ जो पहले लेवल पे डिसाइड होते हैं, मतलब बिफोर एक्चुअली converting raw materials into fresh concrete, okay, which are pre-decided. All are macro parameters. Okay, strength भी पहले डिसाइड होता है, तभी तो हम लोग उसको भरोसे से डालते हैं ना. हम लोग ये तो नहीं करते कि कंक्रीट डाल दिया, बाद में हम लोग उसको वेट करते हैं कि स्ट्रेंथ आएगी या नहीं आएगी, ऐसा तो नहीं होता है. तो वी डिसाइड द मिड डिजाइन इसीलिए बनती है कि कंक्रीट सक्सेस हो. So all those parameters which are decided before converting raw materials into fresh concrete are all macro parameters.
Okay.
अब जो कन्वर्जन स्टेज है कंक्रीट की, और कन्वर्जन से जो फ्रेश कंक्रीट का यूटिलाइजेशन स्टेज है, ओके, और उसके बाद में जो हार्ड एंड कंक्रीट मतलब प्लेसमेंट की स्टेज है, प्लेसमेंट एंड हार्ड एंड कंक्रीट, इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो कि आज तक के was kind of not possible to measure. Okay. अब आहिस्ते आहिस्ते with help of technology we are able to measure them.
Okay.
जैसे जैसे आरएमसी बढ़ा, अभी देखो, अभी मैं आपको बोलता हूँ कि इनिशियली वी वर डूइंग कंक्रीट विद स्मॉल मिक्सर्स.
राइट.
अभी आप अगर सिनेरियो देखोगे तो मैक्सिमम कंक्रीट इज हैपनिंग विद आरएमसी प्लांट्स.
राइट.
आरएमसी प्लांट्स में एक मिक्सर है, एक मिक्सर है और एक व्हीकल है जो जिसको हम लोग ट्रांजिट मिक्सर बोलते हैं. तो मिक्सर जो है वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पर चल रहा है.
राइट.
अब इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है तो उसकी मोटर है, मोटर है तो उसका एम्पियर है, और एम्पियर अगर है तो उसका एक एमीटर है जो एम्पियर को काउंट कर रहा है. ठीक है, मोटर चलते हुए. तो जब वो ड्राई रन में है उसको कम एम्पियर करंट लग रहा है. ठीक है, सो इट्स करंट टेकिंग कैपेसिटी इज लेस बिकॉज इट इज इन ड्राई रन. पर जैसे ही उसमें मटेरियल आ गया, द करंट टेकिंग कैपेसिटी और द करंट रिक्वायर्ड बाय द मोटर टू रन इज हायर. सो उसका एम्पियर इंक्रीजेस. ओके. Now we are in a phase where we are actually having data, refined data now in multiple capacities of different categories. जैसे मान लो इलेक्ट्रिकल डेटा हो गया, ओके, विस्कोसिटी का डेटा हो गया, या जो मूवमेंट है द पावर रेटिंग्स के डेटा हुए. See, now what we are doing is we are not capturing this data. Okay, still we are only giving importance to macro data. Okay, so when I am addressing CTrIBE community, what is my kind of representation or my request to the CTrIBE community is we should all take efforts to deep dive into the micro parameters of concrete. Okay, and we should give technical solutions to the industry. Now see, the industry requires technical solutions.
Yes.
See, people are of two categories. One who are I'll just reframe my statement. The people who want to do good concrete fall into two buckets. One bucket is they want to do concrete, good concrete, but they are not able to define their concrete. Okay. Or others want to do good concrete and they are not able to represent their good concrete. मतलब उसको representation में उनको problem आ रहा है. So what my call to CTrIBE community is कि if we engage in defining, assimilating, or assimilation is very important of the data with respect to the micro parameters, क्योंकि micro parameters जो है ना वो active में है, they are not passive.
Right.
They are not pre-decided. Okay, they are right active there. अभी यहाँ पर जो आरएमसी प्लांट्स है उसमें अलग अलग सेंसर्स लगे हुए हैं मॉइस्चर करेक्शन के लिए.
करेक्ट.
Okay, that again I will call it as a macro parameter. Okay, because that is pre-calibrated in certain ways. Okay.
Yes.
अब वो certain ways में जो pre-calibration हुआ है उसका, that does not work in all the scenarios. You have to understand that. मतलब typically अगर मैं इसको कैलिब्रेट कर रहा हूँ कोई सेंसर को फॉर सैंड मॉइस्चर और मैं उसमें क्रश सैंड, गीला क्रश सैंड डाल रहा हूँ, तो इट फेल्स मेनी टाइम्स. It is not able to actually analyze the moisture of the crushed sand.
Hmm.
So ये जो सब सिनारियोज है ना, ये सिनारियोज को लेते हुए ये challenges के आगे move करना with respect to giving technically correct concrete. So my aim is to prepare technically correct concrete.
Right.
Now if data can help me, अभी जैसा मैंने सिंपल बोला कि आपकी मोटर है, मतलब मैक्सिमम कंक्रीट इज बीइंग प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय आरएमसी प्लांट्स. आरएमसी प्लांट्स जो मोटर है, मोटर करंट पे चल रही है, करंट का एम्पियर आप काउंट कर रहे हो. अब ये एम्पियर को सिर्फ काउंट करना या सिर्फ एक विजुअल लेवल पे वहां पर प्लांट ऑपरेटर के लिए एक सिग्नल बोल के या एक एमीटर बोल के वहां रखना, उसकी बजाय अगर हम लोग इसको डेटा पॉइंट कैप्चरिंग में लेके आ गए और इसका हम लोग ने परफॉर्मेंस को रिकॉर्ड किया कि एट व्हाट एम्पियर मीटर व्हाट इज एक्चुअली हैपनिंग, दिस इज रिकॉर्डेड. सपोज 50,000 क्यूबिक मीटर्स के लिए इसको रिकॉर्ड किया. 50,000 क्यूबिक मीटर्स मतलब कितना सिंपल है. इट इज, अगर हम लोग इंटेंसिव एक्टिविटी करते हैं 10 आरएमसी प्लांट्स के साथ में, तो 50,000 60,000 क्यूबिक मीटर इज ओनली से अप्रोक्सीमेटली 1.5 2 मंथ एक्टिविटी ऑन 10 आरएमसी प्लांट्स. सो ये इंटेंसिव एक्टिविटी अगर हम लोग करते हैं एज अ प्रोजेक्ट, अब इसको फंड कौन करेगा, दैट इज अ वेरी बिग चैलेंज. ओके, बट इंटेंसिव लेवल पे अगर करते हैं या समवन डिसाइड्स टू डू इट, ओके, सो दे कैन जनरेट अ डेटा अबाउट द परफॉर्मेंस, रियल परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ कंक्रीट, एंड देन वी कैन बैक इंटीग्रेट दिस डेटा कि जब वो कंक्रीट का सर्टेन पैरामीटर परफॉर्म नहीं हो रहा है, तो वी कैन आज जो तरीके से जिस तरीके से एआई डेवलप हो रहा है, अब तो इसको एनालाइज करना और आसान हो गया है. पहले तो समझो, मान लो मैं ऐसा सोचता था कि उसको मशीन लर्निंग लगेगी, डेटा एनालिसिस वगैरह वगैरह, बट द वे एआई इज डेवलपिंग एंड द मोर फास्टर इट इज डेवलपिंग, नाउ आई फील सो दैट कुछ दिनों के बाद में तो आप रॉ डेटा दोगे तो वही एनालाइज करके दे देगा कि व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ द करंट फीचर्स, करंट हैपनिंग्स. सो ये जो है, इस तरीके से देयर आर मल्टीपल माइक्रो पैरामीटर्स. जैसे कि मान लो, अभी मैं आपको और एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. द कंक्रीट व्हिच इज कमिंग आउट ऑफ द दिस थिंग, सी, कंक्रीट में एक टर्मिनोलॉजी है रीटेम्परिंग, और रीटेम्परिंग कैन बी डिफाइंड साइंटिफिकली. ओके, नाउ व्हेन साइंटिफिक डेफिनेशन ऑफ रीटेम्परिंग इज पॉसिबल, but who will take the call of retempering? See, the biggest problem which is happening is technical expertise available at the end where you are doing the concrete. That is very big challenge now, because अभी समझो, मान लो एक एरिया है, अभी समझो पूरा सिटी है, there are 200 300 RMC plants. All the RMC plants are working almost every day. दिल्ली एनसीआर लेंगे तो 400 450 के ऊपर प्लस आरएमसी प्लांट्स है, 500 के प्लस आरएमसी प्लांट्स होंगे. पूरा एनसीआर के लेवल पे तो 1000 भी हो सकते हैं. तो ऑल आर वर्किंग एवरीडे. अब जब ये एवरीडे वर्किंग कर रहे हैं, तो एवरीडे इतने 1000 प्लांट्स के लेवल पे 1000 लोग प्लस और 1000 लोग सेकंड शिफ्ट में टेक्निकली उसको मॉनिटर करके टेक्निकल डिसीजंस लेने के लिए अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं है अपने पास. ओके, देयर इज अ शॉर्टफॉल ऑफ पीपल एट द एंड. अच्छा, ये जो 1000 प्लांट्स हैं, ये एट अ टाइम कम से कम 2 या 3 साइट्स को सर्विस दे रहे हैं. सो वो भी मल्टीपल, मतलब पोरिंग एंड पे डिसीजन लेने के लिए टेक्निकली करेक्ट पर्सन की अवेलेबिलिटी मुश्किल है, नॉट पॉसिबल टू एक्चुअली. सो दिस टेक्निकल सॉल्यूशंस कैन, अभी अभी मान लो आप जो स्लेव इंजन है, स्लेव इंजन का डेटा आपके पास में है, द हाउ द स्लेव इंजन इज परफॉर्मिंग एंड व्हाट टाइप ऑफ कंक्रीट इज कमिंग आउट. ओके, ये डेटा आपके पास में अगर रेगुलर आपने डेटा को इनकॉर्पोरेट करके रखा है और इसको बाद में हम लोग मशीन लर्निंग के लेवल पे या एआई के लेवल पे रन करते हैं, तो वी कैन डिफाइन कि व्हाट टाइप ऑफ कंक्रीट इज देयर एंड व्हाट करेक्शन इज रिक्वायर्ड विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू व्हाट वी हैव एक्चुअली इनिशियली मिक्स्ड इन इट. ओके, सो ऑल दिस रिलेटिव पैरामीटर्स कम इनटू द माइक्रो कैपेसिटी. सो ऐसे बहुत सारे रिलेटिव पैरामीटर्स हैं, जो छोटे छोटे पैरामीटर्स हैं, उनको एकदम उनको उन see, understanding the gravity of those parameters will be you know they will become relevant only when data is available with respect to them. Correct. So there where I am kind of I am appealing the CTrIBE community to take up this thing. I am always available. to define things, to analyze things, and to see it in a big picture perspective. Okay, how these things can be used, and then if we are able to actually run this thing pilot project and success is there, then we can offer the solution commercially. And many I personally feel so that many of the even the commercial plants जो normally गड़बड़ करते रहते हैं, छोटी बड़ी गड़बड़ करते रहते हैं, because क्या है, ultimately they want to success commercial success is of prime importance for them. Okay, anything which is there commercial, we also should think about the commercial success of the person ahead of us. So when those commercial success parameters are, we are trying to address them, they will be interested in adopting our solution to do a technically correct concrete. क्योंकि कैसा है कि अगर वो हमारा solution adopt करते हैं और technically correct concrete करते हैं, so they can also go to the market and they can also openly tell that we are doing technically correct things. So उनकी भी ब्रांडिंग में हेल्प करता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि सबको चोरी करना. आज की हालत में सॉल्यूशंस अवेलेबल नहीं है, इसलिए लोग कुछ गड़बड़ करते रहते हैं. अगर सॉल्यूशंस अवेलेबल रहेंगे तो people will slowly and steadily people will try to adapt to them.
So it basically points at the fact that lack of visibility of information is one of the causes where people don't exactly know if they're doing it wrong or if they're making a mistake.
Yes, precisely. That's what is important. मैं अपने आप को भी रिलेट करता हूँ. See, people started me calling concrete magician only because I was able to address their pain points. और pain point में सबसे बड़ा pain point commercial था. Okay, so I was able to understand कि भाई इसको गलत कुछ नहीं करना है, but जो भी ये कर रहा है उसकी वजह से इसका जो commercials है वो hurt हो रहे हैं. So how to do it correctly with a right commercial placement? That is where I have helped people, and people then started noticing me कि हाँ ये जो है ना, this person understands the real problem. Okay, so my name is Riyaaz Patel, it is RP, and I understand the real problems of people. So it's both the RPs are connected.
Very nice. Interesting. I can see the branding game that you are undertaking. Excellent. Excellent. I think Sumant, we'll wait for just a little bit, maybe one question, and then after that, I'll open up for the tribe to ask the questions. So, sir, we talked about this particular thing where we, talked about creating the concrete, basically RMC plant, and tracking that workflow. But if you look at smaller scale projects, right, what opportunities do you see? Firstly, maybe in design, in batching, and then in pour. In terms of across the workflow, because you have everything from material logistics, the kind of material quality, like you said, you guys were working on M140 and you had to, bring material from international countries, right? Material science is there, robotics is there, and then there are AI solutions, and then there are, these applications that we have, PM, quality, and all these other applications that we have. So what opportunities do you see across all of them where, technology could improve or make the life of someone who's pouring concrete on field better?
See, now your question is a bit tricky. You in fact, you connected your question with small projects. Okay, so small projects में बोलता हूँ कि अगर हम लोग one bag mixer की बात कर रहे हैं, okay, are you talking about one bag mixers?
No, I mean, I'm talking about, projects, because there are a lot of work that goes on right in situ, right? RMC plants are there definitely for, the large voluminous concrete pour that is there. But there are also opportunities. Firstly, there are cases where large concrete also, when it comes in, like you managed your data on a Google Sheet, for example, right? And Google Sheet is something that is existent and available to all. But is there a way to formalize that particular thing into something that could help pour? That is one part. And the second part is in the batching process itself for smaller projects that are there, small residences, small schools, where an RMC plant is not required, perhaps. There is a lot of issue that comes in with the quality of batch mix that is provided. I think there was one conversation also on CTrIBE which was talking about, precise batching, batch weighing tools or machines that are not available as of now. So that's where I was wanting to understand the overall perspective of, use of technology, maybe in, managing the pour better, managing the batches better, for smaller plants which are not technical and managing maybe the logistics and materials space?
See what happens, with concrete. Concrete is made of raw materials. Okay.
Yes.
रॉ मटेरियल्स भी मल्टीपल कैटेगरीज में आते हैं. ओके, जैसे कि मतलब फाइन एग्रीगेट्स ही एक या दो टाइप के हो सकते हैं. कोर्स एग्रीगेट्स आर ऑफ टू टाइप. सीमेंट इज देयर, fly ash could be there, water is there. Now which water they are using, that is also a big concern. So because of this, all typically backend parameters being differentiating every now and then, preparing a good concrete without a serious control on the backend parameters is a big task. Is really difficult. I would say it is not possible unless and until a genuine person is attending the concrete and taking calls on it with respect to what material has been fed for mixing. Okay, so there I would kind of give my only thought that it is not possible in each and every scenario to do a technically correct concrete wherein data cannot be defined on paper. Okay, now I am talking about the macro parameters. Okay, data of macro parameters, that is the seamlessness of aggregates, the crushing value, the other test, the specific gravity of aggregates, the design, the strength requirement, and all those जो है वो सारे parameters जब तक के align होके define नहीं हो सकते हैं, it is very difficult to define the concrete or to manage the concrete in a required way. Because क्या होता है कि when smaller concrete is done on site, तो हमारे इंडियन सिनारियो में अगर हम लोग वन बैग मिक्सर को लेके चलते, सिर्फ बैचिंग प्लांट नहीं है तो एकदम से हमारे पास वन बैग मिक्सर है. ओके, इन दोनों के बीच में एक कैटेगरी है, दैट इज थ्री बैग मिक्सर. ओके, या उसको हाफ क्यूबिक मीटर मिक्सर भी बोला जाता है. सो दैट रोटेटिंग ड्रम मिक्सर इज अ थ्री बैग मिक्सर. In some three bag mixers, it is possible to have a proper record of what weightage of material which is going in. वन बैग मिक्सर पे भी इट इज पॉसिबल, बट वो क्रूड फॉर्मेट में है या इलेक्ट्रॉनिक फॉर्मेट में, या वो क्रूड फॉर्मेट में है. और अभी जो कुछ न्यू लेवल पे, मतलब लेटेस्ट जो पिछले 6 महीने में जो एजैक्स का रिवाइज वर्जन आया है, एजैक्स करके एक मशीन है जिसमें वो सेल्फ लोडिंग टीएम के जैसा काम करता है, टीएम मिक्सर के जैसा काम करता है. तो द मशीन विच हैज रिसेंटली बीन लॉन्च्ड, द न्यू वर्जन ऑफ इट इज मच मोर बेटर देन द प्रीवियस वर्जन. Okay, so it is weighing properly, it is taking the weights properly. So these three categories of machines are there when we are not talking about RMC, a proper RMC plant. Okay, and one of my friends in Pune, Mr. Amit, has launched a this thing transit mixer. He has totally reformed the transit mixer, wherein the his vehicle will not carry the wet mix. His vehicle will carry all the raw materials to the site, and there is a mixer given, and that mixer will mix it on the site and produce fresh concrete directly at the client's end. So now these four categories of machines are there other than the regular batching plant. अब ये जो है, ये four machines में again I'll come to the same point कि who is actually handling, the person who is actually handling the fresh concrete properties and what insights he is having will define the overall this thing, capacity to do a better concrete. मैं बेसिकली इसको कंक्लूसिवली आंसर नहीं कर सकता हूँ क्योंकि इसमें बहुत सारे परमिटेशन कॉम्बिनेशंस की पॉसिबिलिटीज है. So we cannot actually answer it conclusively, but in such a scenario, all the macro parameters are get more prominent and have to be looked into. Only there is a limitation of only looking into the macro parameters. So much of the things cannot be actually experimented in such a scenario. Whereas in the plant scenario, there are many experimentation. There are short experimentations also. If someone is interested, he can run very short experiments also. He can do trials, he can do short experiments, he can even check कि transit time का क्या effect हो रहा है concrete पे. So n number of small bits and pieces of experiments, he can join all those और उसकी एक link बना के he can grow his own knowledge. It is in his own command to grow his own knowledge with respect to actual field concrete.
And last question from my side, then I'll open it up for the public. So sustainability is also a big part of nowadays conversation, where everyone is trying to reduce carbon footprint and all that. And I think we have seen in the past there are a lot of material based innovation that is coming in to reduce cement content in concrete and to be able to maintain that strength or something like that. So have you seen something like that in action, or what opportunities do you see there?
अरे मैं तो फ्लैग बेरर हूँ लो कार्बन कंक्रीट का. I am a student of HVFA, that is high volume flash concrete. So I am passionate about high volume flash concrete. मैं थोड़ा सा वक्त लूंगा आपका इसको अपनी ऑडियंस को डिफाइन करने के लिए कि हाई वॉल्यूम फ्लैश कंक्रीट इज वेयर इन देयर इज अ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ फ्लैश पुट इनटू इट एंड फ्लैश इज अ बाय प्रोडक्ट ऑफ द थर्मल पावर प्लांट, एक्चुअली द वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट ऑफ थर्मल पावर प्लांट, ओके, ऑफ कोल बर्निंग. ठीक है. अभी देयर आर इंटरनेशनली देयर आर टू टाइप्स ऑफ फ्लैशेस. जो यूरोप और अमेरिकन कॉन्टिनेंट्स हैं, व्हाट coal we are getting there, it produces class C fly ash.
Okay.
And जो एशियन कॉन्टिनेंट्स हैं, यहाँ पर जो कोल अवेलेबल है, we are producing class F fly ash. Okay, so we are the luckiest people on this earth because we are having class F fly ash, and class F fly ash comes into the pure pozzolanic category.
Okay.
जिसका pozzolanic effect is maximum.
Okay.
इतना ही है कि अपने इधर के सप्लायर जो है वो उसमें गड़बड़ करते रहते हैं. ठीक है. If we are having, say, if India, I just, I, not to hurt anyone's sentiment, but if we can have the culture of Japan in India, wherein there is integrity in the supply chain, we in India would have prepared all concrete, almost all concrete of 100 years, serviceable life. We are having such a beautiful class F fly ash that the Middle East and specifically Dubai, they are using our fly ash, okay, to create marvels at their end.
Wow.
Whereas we are disturbing our own quality of fly ash because of certain advantage for certain few people, and because of that, many people are averse to using fly ash. Okay, they are not in favor. Even the structural consultants are not in favor of using fly ash. Recently, I had an opportunity to discuss this issue with Mr. Manu Santanam sir of IIT Madras, and he was of the opinion that, Riyaaz, if you require any help to certify that 50% fly ash also can be used, we at IIT Madras will be ready to help you.
Nice.
So next time I'll be in Chennai. I have asked his permission to meet him, come down to his place and meet him. And definitely, I'm looking forward to an association with my mass concrete projects and IIT Madras, so that we can do it in a much more, kind of defined way, wherein, there is credibility to our work, because
Right.
certain people do ask certain questions. So I basically personally think that when a reputed name is along with you, there is a credibility to your thought process and to your work also. So I am a student of HVFA, and Indian fly ash, or the Asian fly ash, which we can call it as, is class F fly ash, and using high volume fly ash can in fact produce totally green concrete. It can totally reduce, it can efficiently reduce the carbon footprint of your cement, because your utility of cement or the amount of cement going into it reduces drastically. So as of now, IS permits 35% fly ash into it. Now the revised IS is also permitting a tertiary blend of fly ash, slag and cement also. Slag already, earlier it was permitted up to 70%, but there is a sixth amendment into IS 456 which is now limiting its content to 50%. So these are all things which are available in India, which are waste materials actually, but they are a boon to concrete industry. मैं इसमें एक स्टेटमेंट करना चाहूंगा कि कंक्रीट और सीमेंट इंडस्ट्री ये बदनाम है कार्बन फुटप्रिंट के लिए, बट
Right.
आपको साथ ही साथ में ये फैक्ट भी समझना पड़ेगा या ये ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा कि वी आर द ओनली इंडस्ट्री which is consuming maximum waste materials, which has the potential to consume maximum waste materials. So paradox है. situation contradictory है, those contradictory statements है. So we are concentrating only on the fact that we are actually polluting. We are a polluting industry, but no, that fact needs to be rechecked, needs to be corrected. That we are, though we are polluting, but we are the most recyclable or most kind of circular kind of this thing industry. और अभी 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 जैसा मान लो जो न्यू ड्राफ्ट रूल्स है उसमें रिसाइकल्ड कंक्रीट एग्रीगेट्स भी आ रहे हैं, सो वो सर्कुलर को और ज्यादा उसमें ग्रेविटी आ जाएगी. So it is not a fact that we are a polluting industry, and we should be proud that we are such an industry which is part of the circular economy.
Very nice. Excellent.
Hope so that has answered.
Absolutely. I mean, that gives a good positive touch to, the industry as a whole also. So thank you for that. And I think I'll open up for questions. I think I'll first take up two questions that are there in the chat. And then Sumant, you can go ahead, and others who are interested, please, you can raise your hand. So first question is from Mr. Himanshu. Himanshu, if you are online, if you want to go ahead and ask the question directly.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Himanshu.
Yes. Hi, I'm Himanshu from Ahmedabad. So the question was in the context of the first discussion of large pour in a single go. So just want to know the reason or brief about the project, why that kind of project need a single pour in one go, and the reason being in recent week, probably we might be aware that a similar kind of one assignment in Ahmedabad, 24,000 cubic meter is poured in single go by PSP project. So I was curious. I mean, as such, I haven't witnessed that assignment. So I was curious why in single pour, and what kind of project are they?
So Himanshu, one thing just to kind of point out, the other pour that you mentioned, Mr. Riyaaz was a consultant there to the organization. So he's been part of that pour as well. So Riyaaz, please.
I was only associated with the board of Umiadam Foundation.
Yeah.
In fact, I had 3 briefings there, and I had laid down. I had checked out their this thing, the whole preparation part with PSP, with Adani Concrete, and with Umiadam Foundation, and suggested certain my this thing concerns were there. I had put up in front of the foundation and asked them to look into those concerns, which they had accepted, and many of the concerns they had looked into. In fact, I was present at the final day also, I think, and we enjoyed a very good dinner with Mr. R.P. Patel ji after completion of the pour.
Nice. So, sir, the main question basically is, why do we need such a big pour in one go? What's the reason? Is it just a milestone, or is there an actual structural or a pour related reason that we go for such a big pour in one go?
रीजन भी क्या है सर, कि मैं एक चीज ऑब्जर्व ये भी किया है कि कुछ असाइनमेंट में हमने देखा कि पार्ट पार्ट में पूर करते हैं, मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ सम बैच साइज और व्हाटएवर, बट कुछ ऐसे असाइनमेंट जो सिंगल पोर में इतना बड़ा करते हैं, तो उसके पीछे क्या लॉजिक, क्या रीजन होता है, क्या टेक्निकल पर्सपेक्टिव होता है?
Now, I'll start this question with certain aspect. First of all, not all cases it is possible to go for single pour. Okay. First, we have to accept this fact that not in all cases it is possible to go for a single pour. Where it is not possible, where the supply cannot be assured. Okay. The first is the logistical planning. मैं कभी भी बोलता हूँ कि whenever you are doing a large pour or mass concrete, you have to first start with the logistical planning. You don't need to do the concrete mix design. You don't need the pour management. First is the logistical planning. Ki how and what is available, and how are you actually going to arrange the concrete or do the concrete. So if that logistical planning somehow gives you an opportunity of doing a single pour, then the first kind of preference will always go into doing a single pour. Suppose the logistical planning is not allowing you sufficient quantity to be available within a given timeline, then you can break the pour. So breaking the pour again requires significant amount of calculations ki where exactly you will stop the pour and how you have to stop the pour, because this pour, the connection of old concrete to new concrete needs to be vertical. Okay. So earlier there used to be many different challenges. Now there are certain sacrificial partitions available in the market.
Okay.
So when we are not able to do a single continuous pour, we use the sacrificial partitions to divide the pour, wherein the partition is embedded into the concrete, fixed into the concrete. One side of the pour is done, and the partition is not at all removed from there. It is kept embedded. It is there only inside, submerged into the concrete, and then the second pour is also done on the other side of that partition. So that are called sacrificial partitions. Now, why am I telling that a single pour is necessary? I am telling single pour is necessary because integrity of concrete can be better managed with a single pour. So it is more important that if the logistical planning allows you, then you go for a single pour. Again, single pour requires a very detailed pour management plan. So once you are assured on the basis of logistical planning that you can get a sufficient quantity within a given framework of time, जिसको मैंने पहले भी define किया था कि the concrete should not set before the total timeline of the concrete. So अगर वो पूरा बैठता है आपका, so then you can go in for the pour planning, pour management plan. And pour management plan actually requires a lot of human capital. Say 8,700 cubic meter का pour management plan जो था, that pour management plan required a quality level support team of more than 150 people. This is, I'm talking other than the execution and the labors. Only and only the quality management team was more than 150 people, all inclusive. And that too only and only with 9 RMC plants. Okay. So this is the amount of people required to manage, minimum amount of people required to manage a continuous pour. So this is a main condition for the pour management. So आपका logistical planning हो गया. Once there is a green signal from the logistical planning, then you go on to the pour management. Once you are assured that yes, you can do the whole pour management in a technically correct way, then you move on to then whatever situation arises, based on that situation, whatever is the requirement of concrete with respect to each and every circle of suppliers. That is, say there could be different circles of circles from where the RMC is coming. There can be a 3-kilometer circle, there can be a 6-kilometer circle, there can be a 10-kilometer circle, then there can be a 15-kilometer circle and a 20-kilometer circle. In certain cases, in mass concrete, we had to bring concrete from 70 kilometers also to achieve the logistical planning, okay, and the pour management of a single pour. तो ये जो है ये सब बिठाने के बाद में then we break down then the challenge is the mix design कि कौन सा सर्कल, कौन सी डिजाइन और कौन से चेक पॉइंट्स रहने चाहिए. So all these are placed, a very detailed activity is done, and when all these checkpoints are available, then the stage comes for mock. Okay, we do the actual mock and we realistically check the actual parameters of concrete, in situ concrete, for defining the performance of concrete with respect to the fresh concrete properties and the early hardening of concrete as well as the heat profiling of concrete. So mock भी करने के टाइम पे हमको जो mock है, suppose आप एक क्यूब तैयार कर रहे हो mock का, and the cube is bigger size, 1 meter cube or 1.5 meter cube or 2 meter cube. So 2 meter cube मतलब 2 meter by 2 meter by 2 meter. Okay, so it is huge. Okay, it is totally 8 cubic meters of concrete. So for 8,700 cubic meters, when we did the mock, it was of 27 cubic meters. The mock was of 27 cubic meters. Now, one thing you have to take care that whenever you are doing a mock for mass concrete, to actually check the heat profiling of the early stage concrete, then you have to insulate this mock from all the 6 sides. And that insulation should be minimum 100 mm thermocol insulation from all the 6 sides. That is the bottom, the top, and all the 4 sides. So in this way, the preparation needs to be done. And if you ask specifically, if you ask me, I am always in favor of doing a big single pour to maintain the integrity of concrete and the internal this thing, the stress management or the force management of the concrete. That is, whatever the forces are going to come inside should be in a common, kind of cuboid. Thank you.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thanks for the answer. Omar, if you are on the call, you had a question. If you can go ahead and ask that.
That regarding a 4.7-meter raft foundation, what are the extra special consideration has been taken care at the time of when it is fresh concrete? What extra test is needed?
See, 4.5-meter rafts, the biggest concern is the internal heat is not going to escape in any ways. In any way, there is least possibility, क्योंकि 4.5 मीटर बहुत बड़ी डेप्थ है पूरी की पूरी हीट को ये करने के लिए हीट को प्रोपेगेट करने के लिए. So the biggest concern was that all our calculations were showing that the internal heat of hydration could go beyond 95 degree, and 95 degree is a very big alarming point, because after 95 degree immediately 100 degree पर पहुंच गया अगर पानी, तो water gets converted into steam. And the biggest important fact you should know is 1 liter of water, when it gets converted into steam, it becomes 1600 liters of steam. So the capacity, the expansion becomes 1600 times. So we could not allow it. So when the calculations were going beyond 95 degree, we immediately took a conscious call of doing a simulation calculation for radiant cooling. And then the radiant cooling analysis we did, we checked out with different sizes of pipes, different lengths of pipes, and different water temperatures to run at particular capacities. And we found out that a 40 pipe, 1 kilometer pipeline would be efficiently able to remove the heat from the concrete. So in this particular 4.5 meter height raft, we actually deployed a radiant cooling system. We embedded 1 kilometer pipeline into it. The pipeline was of GI 40 pipe, and that pipeline was able to, in that pipeline we ran cold water, and that cold water was able to absorb the internal heat and maintain it at 70, 71, maximum 72 degrees Celsius.
Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, Sumant, if you want to go next.
Yeah, thanks, Chaitanya. Riyaaz ji, thank you so much for doing this. And in spite of being a big festival, we have such nice audience today. I was actually talking to Chaitanya. तो पता नहीं दशहरा के दिन कितने लोग आएंगे, and we have good enthusiastic public. Riyaaz ji, you were talking about the micro parameters and how it is important to monitor them. So any case study or any good example that you have seen maybe in India or abroad where there is continuous monitoring? And reason I'm asking is because, see, what you are proposing, that there should be zero rejection, is actually a big benefit to the supplier, who don't have to worry about what if it gets rejected, where will I, offset it and stuff like that. So obviously it is in their best interest that they are investing in whatever, maybe sensors or whatever technology is required to continuous monitor, so that they can course correct wherever there is a deviation, especially when you are saying that RMC is traveling 70 kilometer also. But even we have seen in lesser distances, because of traffic and all, the time it takes is extending. And there is this habit of keep on putting water, without asking. That truckwala and his assistant will, they don't know concrete chemistry. They only know that truck should keep moving and the water should be, the concrete should be chikna, which obviously damages the quality. So any example or, case study that you have seen?
See, if you ask me whether I'm having a very big study around it, no, I'm not having a very big study around it. But in certain cases, specifically with respect to retempering, जो मैंने example दिया, retempering and with the ammeter, we had done certain exercises when we found that there are certain problems with respect to actually defining the concrete. अभी ये जो case थी with respect to the ammeter, the case was of immediate pour. Okay, यही कि मतलब प्रोजेक्ट प्लांट था और प्रोजेक्ट प्लांट से निकल के वो जा रहा था, So we immediately use the ammeter readings to understand what concrete is going to fall down from the and it was a night concrete. So night concrete में temperatures तो concern के नहीं थे हमको. Almost all the other fresh concrete properties were in our control, but we had to define the concrete with respect to its fresh performance or immediate fresh performance. See, concrete when it comes with a travel ना, वो somehow अच्छा बन जाता है. Okay, थोड़ा बहुत ठीक ठाक बन जाता है. But when it is fresh consumption, कि आपने concrete mix किया and within 5 to 7 minutes you have to pour it. So there is a big confusion with respect to the cohesive, adhesion of the concrete, the cohesion of concrete. So it underperforms at times. It underperforms there. Okay, so we had done certain analysis with respect to the ammeter, and we were continuously monitoring the ammeter readings to actually understand what is happening with the mixing process. And with that respect, we were doing certain corrections, course corrections to immediately pour the concrete in a way. So we achieved the whatever pour capacity we wanted that day. In the night time, from a single project plant, if we need to manufacture 350 to 500 cubic meters of concrete with a CP30 plant, it is really, really a very, very daunting task. So we have to control, we have to be very, very fast. So in those cases, we used certain things with respect to the ammeter part. Abhi, with respect to the retempering part, actually, it is very difficult because of extensive data is required so that we can undertake the retempering. But here what we had done, we had done trials itself, wherein we had done the trials with retempering, means late addition of water. Okay. And we had proved that late addition of water is not detrimental to concrete for certain timeline. Okay, till certain timeline. मतलब हम लोग ने जो trials run किए थे, those trials were run, मतलब water was added at the fag end of 3 hours. Okay, initial mixing जब शुरू हुई, batching time से 3 घंटे के बाद में हम लोगों ने ट्रायल में पानी डाला है और फिर उस ट्रायल को फिर से कोहेसिव बना के we had filled the cubes and we had checked the parameters. Okay, we had even in one of the cases we had even checked the RCPT also कि इतने देर के बाद में जो इनिशियल जो कंक्रीट का हाइड्रेशन हुआ है उससे स्ट्रेंथ तो समझो आ गई, बट आरसीपीटी पर कहीं पर कोई ड्यूरेबिलिटी पैरामीटर जो आरसीपीटी से चेक होता है उसमें कोई अनटुवर्ड कम ज्यादा हुआ है क्या. So that is the thing. So we found that the overall things were quite in our favor. Okay, it was in our favor कि ड्यूरेबिलिटी वाज मैचिंग द स्ट्रेंथ तो ऑलरेडी हमको 2-3 केस में कंफर्टेबल थे हम लोग. वन ऑफ द केसेस वी चेक वेंट फॉर द ड्यूरेबिलिटी पैरामीटर बिकॉज ऑल द वर्क इज डन एट द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स एंड. अल्टीमेटली कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को स्पेंड करने का उसकी इच्छा होनी चाहिए और कैपेसिटी होनी चाहिए. So activities that have to be arranged and restricted with that perspective. And even I require a certain staff also at his head, उतना creative level का कि जो कुछ एक्टिविटीज को ईमानदारी से और उतनी इंटेग्रिटी से कर सके. दोनों भी चीजें जरूरी है. इंटेग्रिटी एंड ऑनेस्टी both needs to be there at the same point in a person with whom we want to actually do certain collective activity. So retempering was checked at the trial level and then इंस्टेड ऑफ, मतलब जैसा मैंने अभी आपको बोला कि एआई ड्रिवन या मशीन लर्निंग के लेवल पे ड्रिवन एक ऑटोमेटिक सिस्टम बना सकते हैं, दैट इज स्टिल इन माय ड्रीम. बट फिजिकली वेयर आई वाज स्टैंडिंग देयर वी एक्चुअली डिड रीटेम्परिंग ऑफिशियली इन व्हीकल्स. ऑफिशियली कि जितना हम लोग ने ट्रायल्स के लेवल पे पानी का प्रोपोर्शन अलाउ किया था एक्स्ट्रा डालने के लिए, दैट वी एडेड एट सर्टेन टाइमलाइन इन द कॉन्क्रीट measured level पे, and we found that the concrete strength is absolutely perfect.
Thank you so much. Offline we can discuss about this sensor driven
Sure.
continuous monitoring. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Very, very nice listening to you. I just wanted to mention a little bit about the high volume fly ash concrete that you talked about. So actually, I came to Hong Kong in 2017. I'm a concrete technologist and civil engineer. After reading a paper by Professor Christopher Long, who has developed, concrete mixes with up to 80 to 90% fly ash replacement in concrete, and still be able to get M20, M30 minimum type of strength concrete. And I actually brought some fly ash from India, from Odisha. I'm from Odisha, and Odisha has a lot of Class F fly ash that you mentioned, and I had done some work earlier. And we actually compared with the Chinese, both Class F and Class C fly ash with the Indian fly ash that I brought with me. And we can very easily, with the kind of super plus sizes that are now available, we can bring down the water cement ratio low enough and still get adequate workability and achieve M20, M30 up to M40 grade concrete very easily. Now, unfortunately, and the fact that, replacing cement with fly ash in Indian mindset, it's kind of a corruption, right? Because you are replacing a high value, manufactured product like cement with a waste product like fly ash. So people say you are cheating. But the fact, as you know, and all of us should know, is that in the long term, the durability of high volume fly ash concrete is far, far better than ordinary concrete, besides the sustainability and the low cost aspect. So this unfortunately is yet to take up in a mass scale, and people like you can actually do a lot, which you are obviously already doing. Going much beyond 50% that you talked about. But our codes, particularly in mass concrete, where I believe you are working, so we'll connect and work together in this area, how to promote these ideas. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Great. So I think Riyazi, you can see that the community is coming along, and people are connecting with what you are mentioning, and I think there are much more conversations to be had. I think this leaves that hook where people are now interested to know more about what could be done with concrete, what kind of opportunities, data analytics. I also come from that perspective where how could we make it better? Because I think I heard this one line from someone at a conference saying CSR is what construction is all about, right? C is concrete, S is shuttering, R is reinforcement. That's what construction is all about. And if you're solving either one of them, then you are helping the industry on the field. So thank you so much, sir, for taking the time. I know we are very over the time, but I really appreciate you and even the audience to stick around and ask questions.